from the most watched station in Central Texas. This is KWTX News 10.
Well, shots fired. 4 shots fired, additional shots fired. Still have several more shots fired. He's actually shooting. He's in the art room. We got shots fired right now, guys. We need all of you.
9 students and a teacher are dead after a student gunman opens fire at a school this morning in Santa Fe, Texas. Our continuing coverage starts now. Thank you for joining us. I am Justin Early. Tara Mergener is in Santa Fe, Texas tonight, where students, teachers, and the entire city are grappling with this horrific tragedy. We'll hear more from her in just a moment. First, though, let's catch you up on exactly what happened this morning. Santa Fe High School went on lockdown after the student gunman walked into the school and started shooting around 7:30 or 7:40 this morning. Officers led students and bus them to another location where they met up with their parents. We know 10 others were hurt, including a school police officer shot in the upper arm. He just got out of surgery about an hour ago. We also know a sophomore baseball player was shot in the head, but authorities are saying the bullet missed everything vital and he is stable. Students explained the horror they went through.
Sitting in my classroom, and I heard really loud booms, and I didn't know what they were at first. And then I realized what they were when I heard screaming, and I got up and I ran, and we went on to the stage, and we hid backstage. Then the alarm started going off, and we stayed there for a while until the SWAT found us. As soon as I heard the shots, I called my mom. And she came down to get me, and she was waiting outside for me, and it helped a lot to have her on there to keep me calm. I told her, Mom, there are gunshots. I heard 4 shots. And it was it was real. It was real this time. It wasn't real last time.
District officials say students at the school did practice active shooter drills earlier this year. Well, students we're hearing from say they never thought something like this would happen at their school. Let's join News 10's Tara Mergener, who is live tonight in Santa Fe, continuing our coverage now. Tara?
Well, Justin, this is another one of those tiny communities where you would never expect anything like this to happen. Yet here we are again in the community of Santa Fe. And tonight officials say we may still be in danger.
Because of the threat of these explosive items, community members should be on the lookout for any suspicious items and anything that looks out of place. Do not touch any items that look out of place and immediately call 911.
Now, 10 people are dead, as you just mentioned. At least 10 others are injured. The school day at Santa Fe started like any other day, and just before the first period class, a hail of gunfire started inside an art classroom. Students tell police they saw the shooter enter the room. Shots rang out, then somebody pulled the fire alarm. Law enforcement gathered students in a field while they rushed the building.
I thought, because the fire alarm got pulled, I thought maybe it was just like, popping of something, like an explosion or something. So I was like, whatever. But then when I heard the next 4 shots, I was like, no, it's not an explosion. That's, gunshots.
Now, the suspected gunman is a student, 17-year-old Demetrius Porgochis. He is in custody right now and has been charged with capital murder. A second suspect is also being detained and is being questioned right now.
It's really scary. Really, really scary. It's like a free-for-all. And what's the purpose?
Now, officials say the shooter's home and 2 others are being investigated as we speak. There are also reports of a Molotov cocktail and a CO2 device being found in his home. Now, as we mentioned, at least 10 people were injured. One of them, possibly 2, were school resource officers. Now, coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to have more on the suspected gunman and what officials know about him so far. Justin.
Tara live in Santa Fe. Thank you, Tara. We are hearing from the leaders of our state and nation about this today. Senator John Cornyn made a stop in Killeen this morning for 2 events.
Thoughts and prayers are with the families of those injured and killed at Santa Fe School District and right outside of Galveston. It's another tragedy. We don't yet know the details of that. I did talk to the deputy sheriff, the sheriff's office there, to try to get to offer some assistance and to see if there's anything we could do to help.
Governor Greg Abbott was in Santa Fe earlier this afternoon. He asked the entire country to support Texas and told parents to hold their children closely tonight. Abbott talked about what's next.
We need to do more than just pray for the victims and their families. It's time in Texas that we take action to step up and make sure this tragedy is never repeated ever again in the history of the state of Texas.
Abbott says he will immediately begin strategic planning with other officials to prevent another tragedy like this. He wants to have a round table with parents, students, and teachers who are concerned about the ongoing gun violence at schools. Texas Senator Ted Cruz was with him.
We need to be doing everything humanly possible to stop this from ever happening again, to stop violent criminals, to stop them from getting firearms, to stop them from getting access to schools, to incarcerate them when they try to illegally purchase firearms. But Texas, as a state, will make it through this. This community, Santa Fe, will make it through this, leaning on each other, praying for each other, standing with each other. We will make it through this.
President Trump spoke about this tragedy at a previously scheduled White House event earlier today. He also ordered all U.S. flags at half-staff.
This has been going on too long in our country, too many years, too many decades now. We grieve for the terrible loss of life and send our support and love to everyone affected by this absolutely horrific attack. To the students, families, teachers, and personnel at Santa Fe High, we're with you in this tragic hour, and we will be with you forever.
Hundreds across the country are speaking out and calling for action. That includes survivors of the Parkland High School shooting in Florida. Survivor David Hogg called for productive conversations in all this, saying, if you see someone you disagree with, do not attack each other. Talk to one another. This applies to me, too. We must work together to save our future. And the Houston Astros tweeted earlier today saying, in part, we will hold a moment of silence prior to tonight's game and fly the Texas flags at Minute Maid Park at half-staff in support and memory of the victims and their families. A final look now at those details in this shooting at Santa Fe High School this morning. 17-year-old student gunman Dimitrios Pagorchis walked into an art classroom opening fire. We know 9 students and a teacher have died. At least 10 others were injured, including a school police officer who's out of surgery tonight. At least one other suspect is in custody as well. Explosives were also found at the school and around the community. Governor Abbott says Pagorchis was planning to take his own life after the shooting, but did not. He is now charged with capital murder. We'll continue our coverage later in the newscast, once again hearing from News 10's Tara Mergener, who was live at Santa Fe High School where everything unfolded. The latest updates in this very fluid situation can be found at KWTX.com and our social media platforms. You can also download our free app in your phone's app store. Just search KWTX to find it. We'll be right back.